Well, me and my homies, welcome to another exciting episode of the Stacking Triggers podcast, a podcast for casual spikes like you and me and Bill. How are you?
Yes, I am very casual. I am so casual. I brought an illegal deck to Modern Night.
I'm mad at you for that. The second you were like, hey, I registered an 80 card deck with a 14 card sideboard. What did I do? And I went, you registered Yorion, didn't you? I just knew exactly what you did. Before you even started, I was just like, yep, this moron registered Yorion in a deck.
Yeah.
In the year of our Lord 2024.
Yeah, I had been playing D&T in Legacy, where Yorion is still legal, and hastily was trying to throw my deck together before work finished so I could go and stuff. And I was like, Yorion, that's the card I need. That's why I have 80 cards. And it was a bad idea.
Yeah, no fucking kidding. It was a bad idea.
Yeah, but it was fine. It's fine. I threw it out as soon as somebody mentioned it. I was like, "You're 100% right. I'll just run a 14 card sideboard. This is a token. Don't worry about it." But it was fun.
Yeah, sure. We'll talk about your fortnight in Magic very shortly, but first, to go over the itinerary. The
agenda.
Trying to remember now what ITERNR NARY is. Itinerary.
I think it's emphasized. Itinerary.
I'm putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable. I did that joke wrong. So we're going to talk about our fortnights in Magic. We're then going to talk about our RCQs that we played in Pittsburgh after the one where I qualified. And then we're going to talk about something that we missed in our BNR announcement, which was one of our most viewed episodes. Good job, me, for hitting that SEO. Great job.
Yay.
I understand the YouTube. The entire banning philosophy and creation philosophy of the card Nadu, Winged Wisdom. So we're going to talk about that and kind of what it means going forward for the game. But first, let's start with our fortnights in card games, with the exception of RCQs. Bill.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what I did not this past week, but the week before. I think I had to skip. So the only thing I really have is this past week, where I did Boros Death and Taxes. I am trying to make that a thing. I think it's going to be fun, at least for Thursday nights. I'm probably not going to take it to competitions, but I needed just to not play Energy for a bit.
Sure.
And so, yeah, I registered 80 cards. Felia, when I had Felia and something like Skyclave Apparition or the White Orchid Phantom, I was on fire. I was able to clear boards. I was able to deny mana. It was fantastic. It was super inconsistent because it was 80 cards. So there was that. Yes. So that was very fun. I went 1-3. I beat Mill because I had 80 cards.
That is true. Brentley, look out.
I had the tech going in that night. But yeah, that was it. It wasn't great. It wasn't spectacular. It's a work in progress.
So work number 1. Remove 20 cards.
Number 1 is remove Yorion from the sideboard.
Remove 20 cards.
Yes. But yeah.
Step 2, plug in Aether Vials. 3.
Those were in there.
Just be a white deck. Because I played against just a mono white Taxes version. And it was good. Like, it actually was a good deck.
I think it has I think the D&T has legs in this meta to possibly stand on. It's just not as fast, so that's where kind of like need to figure out ways to accelerate things out. Vials, of course, help with that, but white and red are not particularly known for speed.
I mean, unless you're trying to kill somebody by burning them to death.
Yeah, but like creature speed, it's not really a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was it. Just something to tinker around with on Thursday nights. Is what I'm doing with this one. How about you, Dan?
All right. Well, I played the new Murktide version list thing that Biganti pulled out. I played that at the third RCQ that we did. I'll talk about that later. But I was like, okay, I want more reps on this, and it has main deck Harbinger still. I'm still unsold on that deck or on that card existing in the deck because it's round one. I was playing against elves. It's the same kid who plays the same elf deck, and boy, let me tell you what loses to Dimir Murktide pretty hard. Elves, because as long as because I know what I'm mulliganing for. Like if I have like a fatal push or two in opening hand, I'm just like, all right, the game's over.
Yeah.
Like, you don't win from here. I hate to say this. Trapped him on one land in game 2 because he kept like a hand of like a land and a bunch of elves, and he just went like, okay, elf, and I just went fatal push, and then he goes elf, fatal push. Like, don't do that. Don't elf players, mono green devotion players, don't keep a hand of one land versus with elves.
Yeah,
don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't,
especially against the black deck. Never do that. That's stupid. Round 2, I played against Prowess, and it was a close like 3-game set. Like he got game 1, I got game 2. He won game 3 because I went to fatal. I fatal pushed his one of his Swift Spears, and I had Swamp and Fatal Push and Murktide in hand going into turn 3, and I'm like, all right, I have 4 cards in the graveyard currently. I'll have a 7/7 Murktide after I play this Swamp Fatal Push to kill the other Swift Spear, and then I can just play a Murktide, and his DRC is going to have to chump attack into my Murktide, and I'm going to win the game. The game is over at this point. And he just goes, Surgical Extraction, Fatal Push, and I'm like, the game is now over on the other side. I can't win.
Oh, no.
And it's just, apparently it's a fucking one-of. Like, of course he has the one-of fucking Surgical Extraction, which was insane. I was just kind of like, yeah, sure. Yeah, like, you're gonna have it, but like, fuck, man. Like, come on. You went DRC, it was DRC, Swift Spear, and like a Lava Dart, I think. And so he just like gets to push like a ton of damage, and then also with Surgical. I'm just like, what have I witnessed here? What happened?
Yeah.
Ugh. So yeah, I just had some bad luck there. And then round 3, I played against the Soul Trader deck. It's Warren Soul Trader. It's a new card from MH3. Says pay a life, sack a creature, pay a life, make a treasure. And it combos with Marionette Apprentice, which and Gravecrawler, because Warren Soul Trader is a zombie. So you just, make a treasure, sack the Gravecrawler,
or neutral.
Ping, make us, and just do that infinitely, or as long as you have enough life to not die. So he does that he does that, and he beats me 2-0. I don't think I sideboarded correctly because I took out like Toxic Deluge, and I don't think that's right. I think I should leave it.
No, yeah, I would have kept that. Yeah,
I think I should have kept it in and brought in the other Toxic Deluge, and then I forget what else I know. Brought in Surgicals and Extirpates because I was gonna like just Surgical a Gravecrawler and be like, well, now you have to kill me a fair way.
Right. And you don't run Disruptor Flute, right? I don't think so. Or Pithing
Needle. No, why would I run those cards?
Well, because Yogg's on the rise, that's why.
Maybe if Yogg like creeps back into my local meta, but like,
okay,
yeah, no. So after the game, he was like, "Yeah, I was kind of worried you were running like Leyline of the Void." I'm like, "Why the fuck would I run Leyline of the Void? What does Leyline of the Void do?" And he's like, "Well, it exiles my card." It's like, no, it doesn't do fucking anything. If it's not in my opening hand, that card does nothing. Like,
right?
Am I going to pay 4 mana to exile your graveyard? And not even exile your graveyard, just like exile your graveyard card going to your graveyard going forward? I don't have 4 mana to spend on that.
Right, yeah, that's dumb.
You can do that in unfair decks. Like, that's why Scam would run Leyline, because if they drew into Leyline after opening hand, they could pitch it to Grief, you know?
Right.
And yes, I know what someone out there is going to say. Well, you can pitch it to Frog. Sure. But also
you have
remember,
to have Frog resolve.
I'm playing against a black deck, and therefore Frog doesn't do anything.
Yeah, because they have Fatal Pushes as well.
They have Fatal Push. They had Flare of Malices. So it's like, and they also had like
that's really bad for you.
They also had like a Flesh Bag Marauder type card. I can't remember. Like, it was like, I think it was 1 in a black. It was from MH3. It was like a common. I was like, interesting.
Oh yeah, something Marauder.
I don't remember what it's called. I'm gonna kind of look it up here. 3. But like, yeah, they were just like, yeah. Well, I don't know why you wouldn't run Leyline. Murktide, for the love of God, people. Murktide is mid-range deck. Mid-range needs every little microscopic amount of card advantage they can get at any time. At any time. So generally what's going to happen is like, I'm going to wait to extirpate until you target something, generally. Unless I absolutely have to not do that. But like, generally, I want you to spend mana on spells, and then for me using my cards to make them fizzle and also do another game action. Like, that's how Murktide plays. I'm begging people to remember how this shit works. It's called a Cursed Marauder. It's 1 in black for a 2/1. I think Flesh Bag's a 3/2. Well, now I have to look, because Flesh Bag. Let's find out. It's a 3/1 for 3. So a Cursed Marauder, better. Just a better card. In fact, that Mono Black Control, are you playing that? Is Mono Black Control still a thing in Pauper? I don't know.
I don't remember.
Yeah, don't, for the love of God, Murktide players, do not play Leyline of the Void. Don't. You have better cards. Like, if there's a ton of graveyard shit going on in your meta, just play Nihil Spellbomb. The card's just better.
Yeah,
it's just way better.
And you get to draw a card from it.
And you get to draw a card.
Much better.
It's so much better. Yeah. It's 2 total mana to do such things, but like,
it's 2 mana. It's 2 mana over potentially 4 mana, or it being in your opening hand.
Yeah, which you have to get like extremely lucky for, and you can't
also just Dothy Voidwalker. Come on. I mean, also not as great because of Fatal Push problems still, but like
Dothy kind of sucks, honestly.
He does, but if it's damage-based removal that has to hit first,
it's fine. That's why. But like, yeah. So like, I don't know. I hate when I do like other perspectives into Murktide, but you can tell when there are people who have never played Murktide and they just start offering Murktide advice, and it's like, shut the fuck up. Just don't talk. You're not allowed to give me advice. I don't want to hear from you. You have no idea what you're talking about if you're saying these words in this particular order. Like what are you talking about? Play Leyline? No, never, ever. In a million years, never.
No.
The only way Leyline of the Void is worth it is if the meta is Dredge, Living End, other Murktide decks, Gorios, and then you're probably main decking it. That's it. If every other card gets banned and it's just graveyard decks, sure.
Yeah.
Then you can do it.
I suppose.
And even then, it's probably still wrong.
Probably.
So, if you have never played, I don't want to say if you've never played a deck, don't offer advice on things, but like, understand what a deck's purpose is before you offer advice.
Yeah, maybe ask why aren't you playing this card instead?
In fairness, they did say that, and I went, because it sucks.
Oh, well, that's not a very good answer, but...
my actual response was, what does it do? And he is like, well, it exiles my graveyard. And I'm like, yeah, I have many cards that do that, and also do other things. Like, Extirpate is generally a neg-1, because you're not targeting anything on the field, you're not targeting anything in the hand, but like, if they go, because the deck also runs Unearth, so if they go like Unearth, and then I target the thing with Extirpate, like, what do you do?
Yeah. Yep.
Like, now we've gone 1-for-1, and then I've removed whatever you've been trying to do the entire time.
Yeah, you just got a lot more stuff going on to deal with the graveyard than what's needed, so it's fine.
Yeah. So there's my long rant about suggesting good cards for people to play and not bad cards. And with that, it's time to talk about our RCQs that were played after our podcast episode from 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So we had one at your local store, Bill.
Yeah, that was a fast one.
It was a fast one. So fun thing we decided to do was swap decks.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I was trying to build it out for my Murktide version, I was going to copy yours, and I just didn't have enough time to get the shit together. I had all the cards, I just didn't.
Yeah, so I just took my deck box and just went, here you go, son.
Yep. And you gave me, and I gave you my Mardu energy, and you just converted it to Boros.
Because I refuse to play 3 colors. I just refuse.
That's actually fine. That's an opinion. People are allowed to have it. But yeah, it was I'll just go through my match here. My round 1 match was against, of course, the big deck, the Tron, right? Oh no, it was Through the Breach. It was Eldrazi Through the Breach.
Yep.
I didn't go to time once this tournament, which was different than all the others.
Sure was.
But it was really close. Game 1, my opponent just could not draw the lands he needed. Like, I think he drew like 2 lands the entire game, and that was it. Game 2, he was just able to kind of like pop off king and go.
Yeah.
And then like I fought through it pretty hard, but my little bowmaster could only do so much before he was able to remove it. Because of course he had to just do the one ring thing a million times.
Yeah.
And then game 3, the game where everything hinged on there was a bad not catching of something.
Well, there was also something else that you told me about that I was just like, why did you care about this?
Well, okay, yeah. So was that game 2? Maybe that happened. Maybe that was game 2 where that happened. Either way, one of the games I stifled the Ugin's Labyrinth trigger so he wouldn't have to exile a card or something. And then he proceeded to just next turn play a Mana Rock, which, looking back, yeah, I should probably just counter the Mana Rock so he couldn't produce the colorless mana he needed. Because correct. I had, later that game, I had on the field the Harbinger, and it was doing its work, but then he was able to cast, I forget what specifically.
If we're talking about game 3, he cast Devourer with only 1 colorless mana.
It was probably game 2 then.
Okay.
No, yeah, game 2, I definitely had the Harbinger, and he did something with it. But game 3, yes, I had. There was the misplay of not catching him only having the ability to make 1 colorless mana. in which case he would have not been able to cast his Devour, and my Harbinger would have stayed, and he wouldn't have been able to get his big mana rolling, and I would have probably won at that point.
Yeah, he had something else to do, and I'm just kind of like, fucking what? Like what else could you have possibly done in that spot? Like,
yeah, I don't know what he might have had, unless he had like Through the Breach in hand or something, because I think he could make red mana with that one that he had out.
Yes, I think I think it was the Talisman of Gruul. I don't know what that means. I don't know which one that actually is, but like the Talisman of Gruul.
Yeah. So I think that might have been his only other option, was because I think Breach is one red and a bunch
one
of
red, four colorless.
Yeah. Generic.
Or four generic.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a misplay. Felt pretty good though, but because it was like close, but still, like if I would have just caught it. That one I did ask a bunch of questions though. Like we had a bunch of questions for the judge that time. Because he had Trinisphere out on one of the matches, and I wasn't sure if paying, I had to exile additional cards because of Trinisphere, and then I was like, oh, that's a silly thing for me to even think because I was thinking with Trinisphere, it's like you have to pay X mana or less to do it. It's actually just the CMC cost of the card.
Yeah, Murktide's fine.
Yeah. Murktide was fine. I just wanted to be doubly sure because I wasn't sure.
Yeah, you're paying the additional cost by exiling cards.
Yep, and then I had to explain to my opponent the pinging my token with Bowmaster's thing, and how it like resolves at the same time, so the Bowmaster doesn't die. Yeah. He was like, I was unaware of that, and I was like, I was too until a couple weeks ago.
Until I specifically told you how that worked.
Yeah. Yep. And the judge agreed. It's like, yes, that is a thing.
And there was one other. I told you it. Therefore, it's correct.
I know. Yeah. Yes, because everything Dan says is right.
Right. Absolutely.
There's some other thing that we called him over for. I think my opponent drew too many cards.
That happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he drew 8, and he had to do like. No, that was the Sunday RCQ. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Whatever. But yeah, that was my match 1, which I lost. How was your match 1, Dan?
Oh, my match 1 was against Jeskai Control. Game 1, and of course I'm on Boros Energy. Game 1, I kept a 1-lander, but I had action. Like, it was a 1-lander with like a double colored 1-lander with like it was triple Guide of Souls. And I'm just like, whew. If I draw a 8 with like a Johnny in hand, so like if at any point I draw another land, I'm just set. Like I just smoke the opponent. Like it's not even a question. Like I'm just way ahead.
Yeah,
and,
but it's
by the time I draw my second land, my Guide of Souls were all gone because of what's it called? Wrath of the Skies.
Wrath of the Skies? Yeah.
So yeah, and then I play a Johnny, they Stern Scolding, or like they Spell Snare it, and I'm just kinda like, yeah, this one's just over. And then they resolve a ring and I'm like, alright, I'm done. I don't want to play this game anymore. But it was like 4 or 5 turns without fucking drawing a land, and I'm just like, how is this possible? Like, what's even going on here? I don't understand this. There's 22 lands in this deck. Like, in Murktide, I can't stop drawing 19 lands. In the 22 land deck, I can't draw a land. It's insane.
Right. Yeah. I hate it.
Game 2, I don't remember what happened, but I won. I think I resolved Blood Moon, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't realize you were on Blood Moon." It's like, why the fuck would I not be on Blood Moon?
Right,
like,
exactly.
Blood Moon is like the easiest free win you can ever find with this deck ever, all the time. But yeah, so I just played a Blood Moon and just like slowly whittled him to death because I could only play like a couple creatures, and I think eventually I went like amped Raptor into something, and it was like, all right, I've had enough. And it's like, cool, let's go to game 3. Game 3, I can't remember exactly what happened. I think I kind of got stuck. I think I flooded, which like it's like, let me pick one. Pick one. Just pick one. Pick one thing and do it. Like draw the correct amount of lands all the time. Just do that. But I hated it, and I was like, this didn't feel good, and also I feel like this is a bad matchup for me anyway. But like getting just shoved behind the 8-ball twice like that sucks so much. Like the deck just feels so fragile. It's actually crazy how fragile the deck feels for being like the quote unquote best deck in the format right now. It being that fragile is insane to me.
Yeah, I think people are just refusing to change at this point. Like looking at the MTG decks, like meta share, like it's trending down hard. It's like down 2% in the last 2 weeks.
Sure.
So makes sense. Same with Eldrazi Tron, actually. But
what's trending up?
Eldrazi Breach, Dimir Murktide, of course. Kind of in the.
Stop playing it. Get off it.
Kind of in the tier 2 stuff. You're seeing like Mono Black Necrodominance, Reanimator, Domain Aggro. It's coming back. That sounds fun.
What aggro?
Domain aggro is making a comeback. Zoo, yeah, sorry.
Like what the fuck? Yeah, Zoo. Historically bad matchup for Murktide.
Yeah, but like I also have all these cards at this point.
Oh, fucking play it.
Yeah, like I think I'll play it.
Obviously, like the games where you go like Leyline Scion on turn 2.
Yeah.
So, like those are like I don't know how you lose those.
Right.
But I think it's the other, because the thing you have to be wary of is that Wild Nacatl, which I'm assuming is played in the deck still.
It is.
All right, so Wild Nacatl and Neshoba Brawler are both 3 toughness, and coincidentally, Galvanic Discharge gets up to 3. So
yeah, so it's essentially a lightning bolt.
Yeah. So just be aware of that.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it's still a good deck. I think it's a solid tier 2 deck at this point. But it will take games off of Murktide, and it will take its nut draws will take games off of other decks. Just because.
Yeah. I think this is just like so much faster too than a lot of things. Yeah. Either ways, yeah. You had a game 3 though to talk about, didn't you?
I don't remember what happened. I like I said, I think I flooded, but you know, gotcha. Like 1-2, like it was close, but like in the game where the deck operated, it felt great. But in the games where the deck stumbled at all, it was just like, well, this deck sucks.
Yeah, right? It feels like trash.
Why the fuck does anybody play this?
Because it also doesn't take a ton of thought, to be honest with you. Like the curve on it is very low. You do dudes, right? Like the games where there's the most thought are like the mirror, right? Because you have to figure out like what they're playing to.
Yeah.
Like, did they keep the moons? Did they take the moons out? Yada yada yada. Whatever.
If it's a Boros mirror, you take the moons out. If it's if you're playing Mardu, assume if you're playing 3-color anything, and your opponent has a color moon, so blue or red, assume they're playing that.
Yep. Anyways.
Yeah, round 2.
Round 2. I take Dimir Murktide against Mardu Energy. Speaking of 3 colors. It just felt incredibly bad playing against that deck. He was on the Chthonian Nightmare version. So he was able to recur things from his graveyard in order to flip his Ajani. Mm-hmm. And I didn't. Game 1 was just a fast loss. I brought in some hate for it. And then game 2, there was a pivotal point on turn 2 where I should have Force of Negated his Goblin Bombardment, and I didn't even think of the implications of it staying on the field, and that's ultimately what killed me. Because I did eventually build enough of a board to where I could block his stuff. But then he was just like, well, I won't attack, and then just ping you down once you're low enough.
Yeah. So you went through the classic Murktide experience of, this play that I didn't think was going to be consequential actually turns out to be my downfall. It happens like that all the time. Every time.
Yeah.
Because generally what you do is you save your forces for like protecting frogs or protecting Murktide from like prisons.
Yeah.
But bombardment is a house, especially if they can go like bombardment plus a Johnny, you're just,
which is
like,
exactly
so far
what
behind.
happened. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And I could not recover, and it felt terrible. It was O2 drop for me.
Yeah. Speaking of O2 drop, I played against Storm in round 2. Boy, let me tell you something. Boros Energy can't do shit against Storm that just goes off.
Yeah.
I got killed on turn 3 in game 1, and I'm like, this is heinous. Like, what does this deck do anything? Like, does Boros Energy actually do anything? Like, and then game 2, the way that Rawl is worded is stupid and wrong. And should be corrected to make it not seem like there is a reflexive trigger in there. Because what it says is like, when you flip a coin, and if you win the flip, you may. So the you may to me implies a reflexive trigger that you as the opponent can then respond to. I thought I could do that. So I go galvanic discharge, target Ral, and my opponent goes, you can't do that. I'm like, I don't believe you, because may a lot of times means trigger or response point. Okay.
Right.
Judge comes over. No, you can't actually do that. Okay, I'm just gonna scoop because the game's over, and I've been like playing for this exact moment in time.
Yeah.
I was going to let you like go through your deck. Like in my head, I was just like, I'm just gonna make you do your shit, and then the second round tries to flip, I'm gonna kill it, so that way you can't draw 8 or like impulse draw 8.
Yeah.
And because I can't do that, the game is just over now. I don't want to play this out. So yeah. What sucks is that I wish I was on Murktide, because I would have smoked the Jeskai control player. I would have smoked the Storm player. Like neither of those games would have been particularly close.
Right.
On my actual deck, because like I can comfortably beat Jeskai control. Comfortably. And I can comfortably beat Storm.
Yeah.
So like, playing against those two, which are in theory also Boros Energy's worst matchups.
Yep.
I was so done with Boros Energy after that. I did not want to play that deck anymore.
It was pretty rough. It was just a rough day. I think we were also like kind of tired too, because we were up like super late. Trying to get the decks finished. Like, didn't we record also?
Oh yeah, we did.
Recorded
we tried to smash together
decks for everything.
Boros Energy for me with the One Rings in it. Trying to find the cards, so I had a list.
Yep.
But, it is what it is. I'm not too worried about it, because like it was one of those where it's like I was playing a deck that I can confidently say I will never play again. Like I don't care how the deck could be tier 0. It could be the greatest deck that's ever been played in modern history. I will never play that deck again. I fucking hated it. I hated every bit of that experience. It was just miserable.
Yeah. It was kind of rough for me as well on Murktide. Like I feel like I need decks that are more linear.
That's fair.
It's really hard for me to do, like, I can't grasp as much format knowledge, just because of like, I don't know, being a dad, I guess.
Yeah, blame it on them.
Makes things hard. I'm going to blame the kids, but I love the kids. So,
in fairness, you could just get like mediocre coaching from me with the deck.
That's true.
Because I think we brought it up before in the podcast, but like there was that time where we were playing against you were playing against like a Jeskai or like a blue-red Wizards deck, and I'm just like, they have 4 mana up, here comes subtlety. And like there's a subtlety, and it's like, all right, they have this thing, and I'm like, they have this thing.
Yeah,
and
you called everything.
It was just like it was like watching. It was like Tony Romo when he first started commentating the NFL, where he would just call plays. Like I was just doing that. I'm like, they have this. They're lining up for this, and like it was everything all the time.
Yeah, it was exactly right. Right before they cast it too.
I wish we were recording that so everyone could see.
Oh my gosh, that would have been so nice.
I know what I'm fucking talking about. I'm not just like some guy. I am some guy, but like I'm not some moron on the internet who just spouts complete nonsense. I'm able.
You're some guy who qualified twice for the RCQ.
That's true.
Had 2 RCQ qualifiers.
Yeah. I'm not bad at this game. I don't grind as much as everyone else does. I kind of wish I went to Tampa this weekend. Because
what was that Tampa?
SCG.
Oh, SCG. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's 2 modern 10Ks. I would love to play in 2 modern 10Ks. That'd been sick.
Yeah, you were also just up here though with vacation.
Yeah,
and stuff.
I've been traveling a lot, and I was also talking to my wife like, hey, if I qualify again, I am going to Portland. And she's like,
hell yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, I understand.
You can come too? Question mark.
No, we're not doing that. She doesn't want to, and I'm not making her do that.
Well, I promised my wife if I qualify for Portland that she can come, but she can't interrupt anything I'm doing. I don't care. She can go do all the hiking she wants to do. I don't care.
I maintain that if you qualify, you should just skip to Charlotte, and we could just be at Charlotte together.
We'll see. We'll see if I qualify. Like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do any of that. In all honesties.
And actually, what I really said was, hey, just come to Charlotte anyway. Who fucking cares?
Just come to Charlotte. Do the last chance. See if you
do the LCQs. I'll do a trial on Friday.
I don't even know what day that is, but we'll see.
It's March 3rd, March 8th of 2025.
March 8th. Okay. I'll keep it around. Anyways, we have another RCQ to talk about.
We do. So the next one we went to was like on the complete opposite side of Pittsburgh in Coriopolis. This was a 1 slaughter also. And yeah, what was it? Like 25, 26 people?
25 or 24, something like that.
Yeah. So round 1, I played against Amulet Titan. Against a person I do not consider to be a legitimate player. Because, like, I was suspicious. I was a little suspicious after game 1. Because they just had the nuts. Like, they go, like, turn 1 Urza Saga, and I'm like, here comes Amulet. And lo and behold, there goes Amulet. Which, so, by the way, if you see turn 1 Urza Saga, it's always going to be Titan, and it's always going to be they have Amulet on turn 1. Always. Every time. Not even a question. Every time. Yep. But yeah, I'm like, here we go. I don't have the force for this, so boy, sure hope they don't have everything they've ever needed. Within the top 10 cards of this person's library, they proceed to do Simic Growth Chamber. It was like Urza Saga Amulet, Simic Growth Chamber, Titan Grazer. And I'm just like, fucking how? Like, how? How is this possible? How did you get here? How did I get here? You just had the nuttiest fucking draw I've ever seen in my entire life. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Acceptable. Like, that happens. Like, everyone will get tightened at some point. It happens.
Everyone gets one.
It's fine. Well, game 2, I want to play. I Harbinger them. Or no, I don't Harbinger them. Unfortunately, I never got to Harbinger, which sucked. But, like, I get to the point where it's like, all right, I have an 8/8 Murktide. Your 1 out is Otawara. And I believe their lists only run 1 Otawara, Well, guess what the opponent has? One Otawara. And it's like, all right, well, the game's over now. Like, I can't. I have no graveyard. I can't replay this Murktide. I have nothing else going on. And then they just combo off and kill me. And it's just like, yeah. And he's trying to like talk to me about like fucking Legacy. And it's like, bro, I don't give a shit about Legacy. He tries to talk to me about Yu-Gi-Oh! Because of my mat. And I'm like, bro, I don't care. Storm of Ragnarok was from like 15 years ago. I went to a pre-release 15 years ago.
Yeah. He does that a lot. He comes to my LGS
sometimes. I don't give a fuck. Like, sorry. I don't care about anything you're saying. I don't play Legacy.
I just lost to you against a deck that's extremely
I think you're bullshitting me. Like, don't fucking talk to me. Just shut up.
Right.
What about your round one?
That was Gruul Prowess, and I was on Boros Energy. It was fun. I got him. I got him good. Game one, I was just able to like blow through him. I don't know specifically the sequencing on everything. I didn't have anything like particularly fancy. I just had enough removal for his creatures.
Sure.
So it just worked out. Game two, he was able to squeeze out. What did he get? The thing that flies.
Quick slick shot show off.
That's it. Yeah. He was able to get a slick shot show off, and he was able to like pump it up really fast, and he had the protection for my removal. So that was a feels bad man moment.
Generally, red removal does not line up very well against prowess.
Yeah.
Like, you need specifically like delirious unholy heats to really do well.
Yeah.
So you kind of need to like lean on your static prisons in that kind of situation to remove shit.
Yeah. I don't think I had any was my
so like
problem.
You have to,
and he plotted it too, right? So like
you in that scenario, I think you needed to, like, if you had discharge in hand, you just needed to build up as much energy as possible. Like, don't even like swing with, like, if you swing with Guy, don't pump anything, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And then game three, I was able. I had a Vexing Bauble in hand, and I held it because every game he plotted.
Mm-hmm.
Every game. So I waited till he plotted his slick shot show off. And that was his downfall.
Yeah.
Because I was able to get my guy, when he did that, I put the bauble out, and he didn't have any other creatures in hand. He was banking everything on the show off.
Which that's a choice to make. I mean, that is sometimes your problem with prowess.
I think he also led on a Soul Scar, but I removed it because I didn't want him shrinking my stuff. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, you just like in that matchup, it's see threat, remove threat. Honestly, so like
right.
Soul Scar, you're killing on turn one immediately.
Yeah. Yep. Which is exactly what I did.
Very nice.
Yeah, and so that's I won that way. And it was fun. It was fine.
Yeah. So round two, I played against just Eldrazi-tron. This Eldrazi-tron thing is so fucking annoying. It's got like that Sowing Mycospawn match. It's got World Breaker. So it's just like stone raining you every turn, and you're like trying to fight through it. It's really annoying. I won game one because I was just on like I because of main deck Harbinger. Like I don't win that game without having main deck Harbinger. You can't play through it, can't play around it. So I'm just like killing it with the Harbinger, and then he packs it up. Game two, I never see Harbinger, but I go like break the ice on a Tron land, And he fucking, of course, like Thoughtseize bug draws the fucking it again. And I'm like, great. And then I don't see Harbinger, and I have a Murktide out, and I'm like, I can maybe get there, but then like I'm swinging with a 7/7 Murktide, and World Breaker has reach, so he's just like chumping and then like sacking land and bringing it back, and it's like, what do I do here? You know, so I'm just like, okay, and then he just like grinds me out, and you know. In game 3, it took forever. I had a Harbinger, but like he had like a 3/3 throwing Micah Spawn on the battlefield already, so I just couldn't do anything. And then eventually he gets to like a couple talismans. I don't have the counter spells for the talismans, and then he devours my Harbinger and just kind of spirals out of control from there. It was just one of those like long games where like we were just kind of drawing a bunch of air. I was only drawing lands, and I'm just like, can I stop fucking drawing lands? Please. I'm a 19 land deck. Just action. Can I get action, please? No. All of my counter spells showed up like a turn too late. I just couldn't do anything, and I was like, the classic Murktide experience.
Classic.
Either everything lines up perfectly or everything's one turn behind. It doesn't matter. I never go, oh, I needed this like a couple turns ago. It's always like, I needed this like last draw. Like, what, you know, every time. Every time. It's never any different.
Right. That's awful.
So I went 0-2 and then immediately dropped. I was technically 0-3 because we were the last match, because I was just dragging it out because I'm just trying to see, like, is there a way? Because you're supposed to.
Right.
But, like, I didn't have time to report and then drop. So I got paired, and then I just gave the opponent a 2-0 and then dropped.
Oh, yeah. He was really confused.
Oh, were they?
Like, yeah. Or somebody was confused because they got paired against you. Like, they were wandering around looking for you, and they're like, but he just reported. What? Like, I'm so confused. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's just leaving.
Yeah, I got like a hot dog meal. They're serving there for like $6. They're like, yeah, you can go to McDonald's. Like, there's a McDonald's down the street, and I'm like, but this is $6, and it's like,
and it's here.
Two hot dogs with like, I get fucking chili on them, and a bag of chips, and a cookie, and a drink.
Yeah, for $6, and the money went to some kid's school.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna do this. This is so cheap. Like, this is hilariously cheap comparatively. I'd rather go to this I think girl who was going to college. Like, she was beginning her like going
the mom was
going into her senior year or something.
Yeah, the mom was trying to get money to pay for it.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll pay for this instead of giving to McDonald's
corporate. Yeah.
What about your round 2?
Dimir Rogues. Game 1.
I forgot about this.
I thought for sure he was Dimir Murktide, so I played so cautiously.
Oh, why? You were favored heavily.
I
wouldn't say heavily. It's like a 60-40 for you.
Because I just had a ton of like things that were just going to like be not good. Like, he could easily remove them with his black mana sources. Like, I had nothing that was like good enough to stick. Like a Johnny, right? Okay, I'm going to fatal push your Johnny so you can't ever flip it. I don't know. Let
me tell you something. There's 4 fatal pushes that any Dimir Murktide player can play, and if they're playing Go for the Throats, there's 6 total removal spells.
Yeah.
Like, just play into it. Like, that's the thing when you play against Murktide. Make them have things.
Yeah. Either way, I think what happened was I was able to like I was able to flip a Najani, I believe. And I just ran away with it. Like, I kept his board clear constantly. And it just worked for me. So I won game 1. I think I won that one 2-0 because game 2, game 2 I was able to do what is it? I was able to get Harbinger down, and he had only
Blood Moon.
The fast. Oh, right, yeah, Blood Moon. Sorry, the red version.
Yeah, the OG.
The OG version. Oh, now I lost my train of thought.
He only had a fast land.
Right, yeah, he only had the fast land. And a swamp, right? So he had no way to be able to counter anything.
Yeah. You can only like fatal push and like make a the one that gets like a number of cards if your opponent has like 7 or more cards in their graveyard.
Right. Yeah, it was good. It was good for me.
Yeah, they're not winning.
I unfortunately had I snap kept that one, I think, on a mulligan, and didn't really have anything fantastic, but it did buy me enough time to draw into good cards. So I was able to just kind of build up my board and just murder.
Yeah, let me tell you something that's really good. Playing a Blood Moon.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he tried he did at one point bounce it back to my hand, but I was able to just replay it and not care. He had a Brazen Borrower or something, but it was all his mana to bounce it. Yeah.
And then he had to draw an island at some point, but yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Oh, cool! Yeah, petty theft. Here it is again.
Yeah, here it is again, and you don't have anything to be able to take care of it. So cool.
You petty thefted on your end step, and then you go into your next. As the opponent, you go into that turn, and then you play all your shit, and then you're just like, all right. Hope you don't, and you fetch up all your basics, and then
that's the thing. He never drew in any fetches.
What was his fucking mana base?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't remember. He did have fetches. I remember him fetching things, but it was not fantastic.
Okay, I mean that's awful.
Yeah, it was bad.
I'm assuming they had caverns.
I don't know. I didn't see a cavern.
I would assume if you're playing Dimir, if you're playing a creature type, you're probably playing caverns.
Yeah, I didn't really see one. I don't know though. Whatever.
But that was it. So round 3.
Yeah.
Round 3.
Right. Yeah. You're done. I forgot.
Yeah, I'm done. My round 3 is I went 0-2 technically.
Round 3. I believe I was in the mirror.
Sure were. I watched this entire match.
Yeah. You watched this, and it was really close. Because we go to game 1. I think he takes it because he takes it because he was on the he was on the play. And then I take game 2, and then game 3 comes down. Well, I take game 2 because I got a turn 2 celestial guy.
Purge.
No, not the Purge. The one that prevents him from getting
Sun Cleanser.
Sun Cleanser, that's it, sorry. That's what it was.
Yeah, and they have no way of removing that card.
Yeah, and they had no way to remove it, and he had nothing but energy-based things to do to me. Game 3, it comes down to there's one play, and he had a turn 1 Ragavan, and that made me. I bolted it, or did some removal.
You removed it,
and it was my only removal. And I shouldn't have done that. Because I needed that removal, I think, because he resolved a Guide of Souls, and then he was just able to kind of just pop off King from there. So
yeah.
the Ragavan was a bait.
I noticed
and
that, and I was
for
just
it.
kind of like,
Yeah.
why do you care about this Ragavan?
I don't know why I cared about said Ragavan.
Like I'm just watching it. Like, I think you just let this Ragavan hit you, honestly. Like, because who cares? You have the Sun Cleanser on the draw. Like, who cares? Just let it hit you. Like, and play your Sun Cleanser, and then he can't swing into you ever again. Actually, it's not. Well, if he has Guide of Souls plus like a Johnny, then yes, he can. But like,
yeah,
then he has a Flying Monkey. But like,
yeah,
who cares?
Yep. Yeah, so that was, I think, the only point in that matchup where I played probably not the best.
And I'm not going to be like, hey, this is an idiotic play. You were stupid and didn't do this right. It was like, this is not an obvious play. And you think you're making the right play. But like,
yeah,
Ragavan doesn't fucking matter. It's 2 damage and they get a card off you and they get a treasure. Like, so if they just go, if they go Guide of Souls a Johnny, like a Johnny on the stack, you just shoot the Guide of Souls. Who cares?
Exactly.
And like, everything's behind you. And then you just go Sun Cleanser and they're walled off. And like, the only thing they're going to swing is their 2/1 cat token. And that's it.
Right. Yep. So that was probably the misplay there. And he even said after, yeah, that was bait. And I was like, well, that was pretty good looking bait.
People still have PTSD of Ragavan, and so they just like want to focus all their removal on the Ragavan, and then so like someone, if you're still playing Ragavan, which it's debatable if you even want to at this point, but like if you're still playing Ragavan, you better have a backup threat behind it, because like you're basically sending out the Ragavan to be like, die, right, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, makes sense. But yeah, that was my round 3. That was my first loss. Round 4, I played against Storm. That's what I played against. And this Storm player is a guy who plays at my local shop all the time. And it was all right.
Really?
Oh yeah, I won. Like
did he just fizzle?
Yeah.
Oh well, then that's it.
Well,
you're just kind of you're just kind of like, I feel like as the energy player, just kind of like, please just fizzle, please.
So game 1 he fizzled. Game 2 I had dampening sphere.
Oh yeah, they're not doing anything there.
Yeah, and he couldn't get through it. So I mean, but he tried. He tried a couple times to like build up enough to like do an empty the Warrens or something, but he couldn't get the cards he needed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a quick 2-0. Nothing notable in that. So I won that. That was round 4, and then it's round 5. I'm in 6th, and I'm paired against Yawgmoth, another player I've played a few times.
Mm-hmm. Mind you, they're also 3/1.
They are also 3/1. But his breakers, I believe, are better than
they were way better. Like, it's not even quite. It's not even a question.
Yeah, I think the Gruul Prowess guy kind of did me in on breakers. Like, I don't know what his final standing was, but I don't think it was fantastic.
So I'm trying to find it, because you were in the Discord being like, you showed us after round 4.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, that 6th is great, but like there's 2 guys at 9th and 10th who are 2/1/1 who have equal or better breakers than you.
Yep.
So like you become 3/1/1, and if both of them become 3/1/1, because I'm going to assume they played each other to draw.
Right.
If they both win, you probably get bubbled out because they just leapfrog you because they have better breakers.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
and
I was like, you have to play this out. Unfortunately, like this, it sucks to say, but you will have to play this out.
Because Yawgmoth is definitely not like, even if I'm on a good deck, against Yawgmoth, I feel like I still have a hard time against Yawgmoth.
Yawgmoth has a lot of lines that it can take to kind of play through most situations.
Yeah. And this guy just specializes in Yawgmoth. It's what he plays all the time, no matter what. So that's unfortunate for me. But yeah, so I go into it. At first, like, he does offer the ID, and he's really kind of pushing for it. And I don't know. I didn't trust it.
I agree that you should not have trusted it.
Yeah, like
just based off the breakers and who else was in that same range as you.
Yeah.
You should not have taken the draw, period. Even if like everything goes your way, taking the draw there, I think like the only way things work out for you there is if everything like the 2-1-1s both lose.
Yeah. Right, yeah. It would have had to work out like that.
Yeah.
But it didn't. And that's okay. But yeah, I ended up playing against him. It was really rough, to say the least.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was first game, like, I just kept a really fast hand, but it was just, again, creature based, which Yawgmoth excels against. He was just able to completely punch through my stuff or take it all out before it even mattered. Game 2, I had a hate piece. I did the exact same thing I did the previous Saturday, which was when shit was on the line, I kept a threat light hand with shit to remove stuff. So that was a mistake on my part. It sucked. I think I was also in my head a bit about it. I was also very tired. So that's that. That was it. It was very fast. I kind of stuck around to kind of see like who won. Well, I kind of had to, right? Like, if I think there was like some slim chance, even though I lost, that I would still make top 8 because like I was 9th overall by less than a percent. I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know really how close. Drawing changes your breakers, but you like your match win percentage was even with, or like your opponent's match win percentage was even with the 8th place. But if you draw, I don't know what happens.
Right.
Like, I actually think you go down, and I think no matter what in that entire situation, assuming all of the things equal, if you draw, I think nothing changes, and you are 9th, and you get bubbled out.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're right, and I think it was better. Like, even if I would have just taken a game off of him somehow, like he just had bad draws or something, I probably would have been in top 8 at that.
Well, no, because they were both 3-1-1.
Oh.
So
yeah. A 3. Oh, yeah.
It was a clean cut 3-1-1 or better got into top 8. So like I said, you had you have to win this one to get in.
Yep. Just was not gonna not do it.
Your opponent being pushy, it's because they had great breakers. Like great breakers.
They didn't care.
They didn't care. Well, they didn't have great breakers. They had fine breakers. Their breaker, they were like 52%, which was going to be over the second 2-1-1.
Yeah.
So like they didn't care. They're just like, I'm in. And that's true. They were going to be in. But like with your breakers, you had to play out.
Yeah. I don't know why. Like, I felt like I did really well.
I mean, you did. Like 3-2's all like a positive win rate is good.
Yeah. It's just it's that's just like 2 weekends in a row where it's like, oh, I was on the cusp of the top 8. Well, not the top, like the top playing for it, right? Because like it was a top 4 for the other one.
Yeah, because you bubbled out at 5th on the last one.
Yeah.
You had to win, and if you won your game, like it's another one of your cases where you're at the win and in stage and you're just not winning.
Yeah. Yep. And I think that's just partly the deck as well, right? Like the matchups for that deck are just awful. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Right. Like Jeskai control for energy is really hard. Yawgmoth I'm going to creature combo kill your creatures deck.
Yeah.
Is also very hard.
Yeah, when they get double Young Wolf and can just wipe your board for free wipe your board and draw a bunch of cards. Boy.
Yeah.
That seems good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, let me see if I can find, because I saw a matchup matrix recently, which had me like, what the fuck are we talking about here? Right. In a weird way. So Dimir Murktide over a period of time, I'm trying to see what it says. It was over last weekend, Murktide had a 55 win percentage.
Oh, geez.
Going 42% against Boros Energy, 50 against Amulet Titan, 53% against Eldrazi, 73 against Mardu Energy, which, like, that's something.
That's crazy. Oh,
that's something I never would have thought of. But I'm trying to find Yawgmoth is here. Yawg. Apparently 0% in 5 matches against Boros Energy. So in theory, you actually have a good matchup against it.
I don't understand how.
I think that's just.
But okay.
I think you get psyched out a little bit when you see Yawgmoth because it's a deck that has so many weird lines that you're just kind of like, I don't know what I'm looking at here.
Yeah. Yep. Like even my last game or my last. What's the game? Oh my Jesus.
I don't know.
Thursday, right? Thursday, I played against Yawgmoth too, and I was on Death and Taxes. Still couldn't do it. Still couldn't beat him. Like, I don't understand if it's just him or if it's the deck. I just have some really not fun times against Yawgmoth. Because he's the only one in the area that plays it. Yeah, he's the only one that plays Yawgmoth in the area that I know of.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it's just odd to me. What's interesting?
No, that he's the only one who plays in the area.
Oh.
We don't have very many Yawg players in my area either. Like, there's one guy who, like, moonlights with Yawg. He was on Murktide for, like, he was on Murktide, and, like, Murktide was, like, falling out of favor, so he was, like, trying out Yawg.
Right.
Yeah, Yawgmoth, 0% against Boros Energy. That's wild.
That's crazy. Like, please, people, what do I need to focus? Because, like, there's so much fucking shit that happens with Yawgmoth. Like, what
the mana accelerators?
Okay, but then he's got the little shits that can recur.
There's
the Yawgmoth
if you take care of the mana accelerators, like getting rid of, like, if you can static prison a wall of roots, boy, they're just so fucked. Because, like, that card is 2 mana on a Chord of Calling.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
Take care of Delighted Halfling, take care of Wall of Roots. And, like, I think you're just golden, pony boy.
I hate Yawgmoth. It feels not great.
That's fine.
Yeah. Feels not good. My guy.
All right. Well, we've gone long on the RCQ talk, so let's get into some design decisions from Wizards of the Coast. So, after the ban list dropped, there was a little note from Michael Majors, who is lead designer on MH3. Literally starts with, as the lead designer on MH3, I wanted to weigh in on our decision today. Nadu Winged Wisdom was a design mistake. The community quickly identified in previous season that the combination of Shuko or Outrider and Core with Nadu would allow a player to draw their entire library. As one would expect, many early lists were untuned, being either too fragile or using Nadu more as an afterthought than a primary game plan. Before Pro Tour MH3, Nadu was clearly a strong deck, but it hadn't quite shown itself to be as bannable. Okay, disagree, but sure. So how did we get here? Nadu went through almost all of MH3's development looking something like this. Nadu, Winged Wisdom, 1 green blue, legendary creature, bird wizard, 3/4. That stat line's insane for a 3/4. Why? Flying. You may cast permanent spells as though they had flash.
Yeah.
Whenever a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, reveal the top card of your library. If it is a land, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, put it into your hand. So let's stop there. Bill, what do you feel about that Nadu Winged Wisdom?
The biggest difference was flash, right?
Well,
I thought that's what I saw.
No, there's 2 big differences. One, it gives other permanent cards in your hand flash.
Oh. What the fuck?
Yeah. I think that'd be interesting.
Okay.
But the most important thing is the second line of text, which says whenever a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, as opposed to just a target.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Why didn't they keep that? Why didn't they keep that statistic line?
Bill, that's a great question. Let's let Michael continue. Nadu was a powerful option against interaction and a part of various Bant mid-range strategies throughout our testing, but it wasn't something that our group perceived as much more than a role player. Fine. For some more context, Modern Horizons testing works differently than typical standard FFL, Future League. Why are there 2 futures? Okay,
future
whatever.
Format?
No, it's actually Future League.
Oh,
I'm not kidding you. It actually says Future League. That's wild. For both MH2 and MH3, we brought in a small group of contractors and worked on the set in a dedicated sprint as a collaboration between that group and a small number of play designers. The playtesting time is more dense as the group is singularly focused on the set without other responsibilities, but shorter in terms of weeks. After the playtesting, there were a series of last-minute checks by the sets by various groups. This is the normal operating procedure for every release. In a series of opportunities for folks from various departments and disciplines to weigh in on every component of the project and give final feedback. In one of these meetings, there was a great deal of concern raised by Nadu's flash granting ability for commander play. After removing the ability, it wasn't clear that the card would have an audience or a home, something that is important for every card we make. Ultimately, my intention was to create a build-around aimed at commander play, which resulted in the final text. I missed the interaction with 0 mana abilities that are so problematic. The last round of folks who were shown the card in the building missed it too. We didn't playtest Nadu's final iteration as we were too far along in the process and shipped it as is. I want to go over some of the time. Okay, I don't care about the word. Actually, it does have a lot of the things that my questions. Because like a lot of early buzz surrounding Nadu included comments like, "Why does it have 4 toughness?" Or if it only triggered once, it would be okay. The most extreme being, did they put the quotations on the card in the wrong place? As I've gone over, the most obvious answer to these things is typically the right wing. Nadu was not an attempt to push a card right up to the perceived maximum power level and missing the mark. Oh wait, sorry. Nadu was not an attempt to push a card right up to the perceived power level and missing the mark. What is that sentence? If I had grasped the scope of the risk here, I would have changed the text box entirely and not hoped that trimming a toughness would land us in the perfect spot. It's not just trimming a toughness; it's trimming. If you trim, you could do a multitude of things, bro. You could have given it two power. You could have given it 3 toughness. You could have given it once per turn.
No,
yeah.
You could have made it an opponent controls it. Controls the thing that you're trying to do.
The opponent controls the text thing. That's fine.
You had the option. It was right there.
You had the option. It was fine. It was right there. What we learned. All right, so I'm gonna many more cards in MH3. To me, Magic is most fun. Blah, blah, blah. So right, you missed it, and clearly there's a desire to take risks. So what does that mean moving forward? I don't know. He talks about like other good designs, like Ugin's Labyrinth and Chitonian Nightmare and Anthraptor. And it's like, sure.
Okay.
What we learned. This is both a design and logistical failure. This is something we're trying to tackle in a variety of ways. The BNR announcement timing is changing to be optimized for RCQs and widespread competitive play going forward.
Okay.
What do they say exactly? Just going to take me back to the announcement. Yeah. I don't remember if they said, we should talk about the cadence thing, but while we can't guarantee we'll avoid bans in the future, because you can't, we can take steps to make sure that they will do as little damage as possible for players who want to invest their time and energy into competitive formats. On the inside is a combination of things. One, at a high level, we want to make sure that all relevant groups have time to impact change in a time window that makes sense for the project. I have faith that if the current Nadu had been scrutinized while our contractors were actively playtesting, things would have turned out better. Correct. Making the change after your contractors leave, and I'm assuming this is where Canister and Mason Clark and others who have worked on it, I'm sure this is where they come in and they offer opinions, because I'm sure someone would have been like, hey, is Shuko modern legal? Oh, it is? Yeah. Okay, fix this. Fuck, what the fuck?
Yeah.
2, I'll be putting more effort towards being conservative if I can't draw clear conclusions, as well as encouraging that behavior in others. I didn't know that Shuko was powerful with Nadu. Play your game. However, I was aware that I fully didn't understand the implications of Nadu's text box. That should have urged me to be more aggressive, to more aggressively seek other opinions, and failing any strong conclusions, to default to something I better understood. I was blinded by a goal of make something that's really awesome for somebody. Oh my god. Ultimately, nobody was happy. Correct. I'll conclude by stressing the point that Magic is a game of enormous complexity. Correct. We won't get things right all the time, or always will be able to predict how our formats will respond. Also correct. However, the creation of this game is a labor of love, and some of these situations, we fall on the side of clear mistakes and clear solutions. We take them very seriously and are always looking to improve the game. Okay, so all that being said, Nadu was changed because it was too good for Commander. The Flash part, because, I mean, yeah.
Yes.
Could you imagine flashing in, you go Nadu and you're like, all right, flash in Mana Crypt. Or Man of Vault.
Not even just okay. So this card was too good for Commander, and then, but we're gonna put it in Modern, where people are way more optimized.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's put everything has Flash into Modern. Right?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, because you're gonna get your Bant Teferi was always going to be in that deck. Imagine going all right, turn 4, Flash Teferi.
Yeah. Good luck. Hope you didn't.
Sorry, in your upkeep opponent, Flash Teferi.
Right. Yeah. What the, come on, guys. You know what you're doing. I think my business.
Opponent, in your end step, I'm going to flash in this Delighted Halfling.
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah. I think I have so much frustration. I don't care that they fucked up, right? It's a complicated game.
Yeah.
And they're on a tight schedule to fix stuff. I'm more pissed off that they didn't see it as a fucking play problem when during the Pro Tour, they had to come up with a goddamn fucking device to figure out what had already been triggered twice and what hadn't been.
Yeah.
Right? They had to come up with an ad hoc fucking way to figure that out, and that every game was going to time because people were being dumb. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like with Amalia. I think we should have seen the writing on the wall of Amalia after that Pro Tour, after Pro Tour Vegas. I think it was Pro Tour Vegas. Whenever, there was a Game 7. And, I know people were like, man, Game 7, that's so fucking cool. No. Sorry, it's not. Magic's three games. And sometimes, if the tournament structure allows, it's 5 games per set.
Yeah. It was cool that one time.
It was cool that one time, never again.
Yeah.
Should never have happened again. But considering that, we should have known that when Amalia did not eat a ban immediately after that Pro Tour, Why would they fix Nadu? Why would they fix that?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I think that's just asinine though. Like, come on. Like, your game. You know the people that are going to play it, they're going to min-max the fuck out of it. People specifically did not buy into Nadu shit because they knew it was going to get banned. They were just like, yeah, I'm either not going to play RCs or I'm going to expect to see a Nadu and hopefully outrace them. I think that's why Boros Energy took off so much, was because people could try to race it. Right? Like,
ironically, Boros Energy had a horrendous Nadu matchup. Horrendous.
Did it? Okay.
Oh yeah.
That's interesting.
Like, you were playing Boros Energy in spite of it. Like, you were playing,
that's crazy,
assuming you were not going to see Nadu. I'm not kidding.
That's insane.
I think I'd have to see if I could find this. Do you still have Nadu on here? MTG decks? Because I want to see. I don't think they do. I wish I could see historical data. Because I would love to see the historical data, because I'm pretty sure it was like a 35% matchup for Boros Energy, which, like, once you start getting into like 60-40, that's when you start knowing matchups are bad.
Yeah.
Like, actually bad. But
yeah. They should be more aggressive, I think, with what they see as being an actual problem. They knew they were going to ban it.
Yeah.
Like, why wait? Why wait? I understand not banning on certain days, because that doesn't give people enough time to get their shit together for their matches. Right. I get that, but they could have banned any time after that Pro Tour.
If it was I'm not saying like it had to be the Monday, because I'm trying to remember when the Pro Tour was. I want to say it was like the 15th or like the 14th. Okay. If they banned it if they went on the 22nd, hey, we're banning Nadu.
Yeah.
The first RCQs were starting on the 3rd of August. So that's roughly 10 business days for people to find another deck.
Right.
That's more than enough time, quite honestly.
Right.
And if you don't think so, I think you're wrong.
I think it's fine.
I think it's fine.
I think that's more than enough time. I think people are really fucking dumb, and that Wizards should have just banned it. They should just banned it.
Yeah. All right. So the cadence, we kind of touched on this because I was like, "What the fuck? The next BNR is on the 16th. What are you talking about? Of December? Yeah, I should say." All right. So today we're going to start off by addressing an issue we've had with the timing of our banned and restricted announcements. The current timing tied BNR announcements to set releases, placing the announcement on the Monday prior to the start of Duskmorn previews. The goal in doing so was to ensure, I'm going to just say ensure, each set had proper context for evaluating new cards and to provide fewer points where decks would change. However, this timing did not take into account the timing of our competitive play seasons, namely the RCs, the RCQs, and the Pro Tour. This led to BNR announcements that occurred in the middle of competitive seasons, or as we just saw with the most recent announcement on June 24th, they can occur the week of the Pro Tour. This can make so.
Oh yeah, I'm confused.
The Pro Tour was on June 24th.
Yeah,
or like June. I'm going to say like June 28th to 30th,
something like that. Yeah.
Why didn't you fucking ban it on the 8th? I'm sure I said this at that time. Why didn't you fucking ban it on the 8th? You ban it on the 8th. It gives everybody like a month.
Yeah.
It gives everybody a month. No one can complain about that. Everyone's happy. What the fuck?
Yes. Yeah, they had ways to ban this. Like, I don't know why they I think it was just such a new set. They didn't want to ban anything that quickly from a new set.
What the fuck? You had a month.
Fine.
Yeah,
yes,
you could have
yes, they did
to find a new deck. What are you fucking talking about?
Yes. They were scumbags.
How did I not like grasp this? I'm sure I did grasp it. Like I'm only understanding the magnitude of this now when I read these words that they're also saying with this. Like that's insane.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's stupid. They are stupid. I hate them right
now. This can make it difficult for players to have confidence in their deck selection for events they've planned for, both from a testing perspective and a logistical one. Correct.
That should not. Well, okay. So testing perspectives should not be their problem.
Yes. Logistical.
Right? I understand the logisticals. Yeah, that's fine. Like you can worry about that, but at the same time, people should have backup decks. You should expect a ban at any second.
That's true.
Yeah.
Back to this. It is clear the timing of the June 24th ban restricted announcement was poor. Correct. So much so that we notified the public ahead of time that we would not be making any changes to Modern so that players could appropriately plan for Pro Tour Modern Horizons 3. That's fine. That's fine. I'm fine with them saying that, but what should have also been tied to that was based off of what goes on after the pro, like during and after the Pro Tour, we're gonna come up with something, 2 weeks later on the 8th.
Right.
Even the 15th. You could have said any of those dates, and I've been like, great, that's great. But okay, sorry. This was certainly not ideal. Yes. Moving forward, we will be aligning our BNR announcements to the RC and RCQ seasons. This will allow us to make adjustments to our play environments to ensure the best experience possible for our competitive play pipeline. Our plan is to use the RC and RCQ format or seasons, which includes Pro Tours, to gather data and observe the evolution of how each format absorbs each new release. This also means fewer BNR announcements overall.
Right.
To that end, our next BNR announcement will be on December 16th, 2024. It is worth noting that we do not plan on changing the current standard BNR philosophy, meaning we will still want only one window per year, barring an emergency, where we consider taking any action in standard. So does that mean there's technically they are not allowing for any emergency BNRs for any other format?
No, I think it's only standard. They're not going to have the emergency.
No. Because that says
specifically,
meaning we still want only one per year, barring an emergency, where we take action in standard.
Where we take action in standard,
barring an emergency. The whole sentence is like.
I'm trying to see here. I'm trying to read specifically where it is at.
Sort of stop.
Yeah. Are you in the what we learned part?
No. I'm in an updated ban and restricted announcement cadence, which was attached to the BNR announcement that we just kind of leafed through because we wanted to see their insane reasons for banning.
I was looking at the on banning Nadu Winged Wisdom. That's what I was on.
Oh yeah. Go get to the BNR announcement.
Okay, never mind. I'll just trust what you're saying. I don't know.
Okay, but yeah, it is worth noting that we don't plan on changing the current standard BNR philosophy, meaning we will still only want one window per year, barring an emergency, where we consider taking action in standard. So does that mean to me, that means there's no emergency ban window or ban option for any other format other than standard?
That seems true, which is a little crazy, but at least in my opinion, like you now know, right? It's awful, but
why?
Because they're dumb. Because they're dumb, Dan.
So I guess my question then is what Pro Tour? What Magic Pro Tour? When's the next Pro Tour? Other than
should be soon.
Magic Championships.
Should be Vegas.
That's not what I'm talking about. I already know that one exists. I'm saying because that's technically the World Championship. That's not the Pro Tour.
It would be March, I believe. Right, because that's when
I'm about to find out. So the World Championship is October 25th to the 27th. I thought it was for some reason in September. I'm trying to see what's happening in December.
I don't think there's anything in December because of the holidays.
I don't see anything in December either.
Yeah, it's the holidays. And Duskmourn would have come out. I think Foundation comes out in November.
No. But what they're saying, the whole point of that piece of text I read was to tell you they're removing we're banning around sets.
Okay.
That was the whole point of that. What I'm trying to figure out is what comes out, what's happening around December that they're just like, all right, our next one is in the middle of December for some reason. Like, the only thing I see on Wizards' calendar is the Central America series, which I'm assuming is the Central America RC. Because we have Ultimate Guard, I'm assuming, doing their RC for Europe.
Okay.
Yep. For the Pioneer season. We have RC Atlanta in October.
Okay.
I'm confused. I don't
either. I don't know. Wizards is confusing.
I'm befuddled. I get it. Like, if it's done on the 1st, why don't you? Why doesn't the play team, like, why do we have to wait 2 weeks? Like, why can't the play team just be like, all right, Monday the 2nd through Friday the 6th, we're gonna fucking talk about this shit. We're gonna do research. We're gonna figure out what's even going on in every format, and then on the 9th, after the RC season's over, with the Central America one, that's when we're doing it. That's when we're doing it.
Right.
Because there's the Spotlight series for Foundations on January 3rd through the 5th at SCG Atlanta, which is also... What else is going on there? Is that just it? Is it just that? Is that just the main event? I think that's just the main event. Okay, interesting. Yeah, because the next thing is Spotlight Series Modern Utrecht. There's nothing else. There's no other tournaments on the schedule, but I can tell you right now, having looked recently at SCG, the next SCG Con is DC on October 6th, which is the US Pioneer RC.
Right.
And then after that is RC Portland, SCG Portland for Modern, and SCG Charlotte in March for Charlotte. Also Modern.
Okay.
I don't know. I know what I'm trying to say here. I'm trying to say something, but like... I can't fit it into words right now, what I'm trying to say.
I know.
If that makes sense.
I don't know what you're trying to say, but I have been in that position where I can't think of what to say.
Like, I think I'm just too befuddled by this.
Yeah, I don't think their ban schedule makes a whole lot of sense right now. Like, because if you want to be more tailored towards pro play, you would have open windows for bans, right?
See, I don't like open windows. Like, I like this more.
Yeah.
But, like, when does Modern season actually end?
That's a good question. I've been...
Like, Modern RCQ season.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't hate... Because, like, obviously, like, December 16th is between the RCQs and the RC.
Right.
So let me see. The last RCQ in my area is Saturday, November 2nd. Okay. So I'm going to assume that early
it's
November is the last one. Like is when it ends.
Now I have to look it up.
I think. Okay. I don't know. I feel like they should be having like we shouldn't be waiting so long for these fucking discussions. Like I'm not saying like, hey, the week after all the RCQs for Modern are done, we should know like the ban list for Modern. But like I am also saying maybe 3 weeks after all the RCQs for Modern, we should find out what the Modern ban list is. Like we shouldn't like I feel like each format should have versatility to do their BNR announcement for that specific format after an RCQ season's finished.
Right.
And not wait to have a joint BNR announcement for Modern and Pioneer and Legacy and Vintage and Explorer and Canadian Highlander and
September
Popper.
27th. Sorry. Ends September 27th, by the way. My store still has 2 RCQs to put on.
So it ends on the 27th? Okay, so yeah. Then, okay. So I've made much ado about nothing. Their window's actually fine.
Yeah. Current round, season 3, round 2. June 18th through September 27th.
September?
I can't believe we started on the 18th?
September
27th. Yeah, this is weird.
Send me what you're looking at. Or is
this? It's an MG. Oh god. Let me send. Where are you? There. I sent it to Discord.
Melee.gg.
It's got the right
sign up for hosting season 3. June 18th.
11/3. Sorry.
So the season starts on
8/3.
August 3rd and ends November 3rd.
11/3. Okay.
All right. So yeah. Then okay. Let's go back to what I just said. If it ends on November 3rd, why are we not getting a BNR on like the 18th of November for Modern?
Yeah.
Like.
The only thing I can think of is they have that foundation set coming out. That's the only thing I can think of, and they want to see what happens.
I disagree because Foundations comes out later than even the 16th.
Right.
December 16th is the next BNR. Foundations comes out after that.
Oh, I thought it was in November.
Foundations is premiering, I believe, if I remember correctly, in 2025.
PG Foundations. Now I have to look it up.
Now first look at Foundations.
The set releases November 15th.
Who cares? Is this set gonna like I looked at the previews. None of these are gonna do anything for Modern. Not a single thing.
The previews aren't done yet.
But the 3 preview, they showed Llanowar Elves, Anthem of Champions, and Day of Judgment. None of those cards are going to do anything in Modern. That's what I'm saying is like, be more aggressive around the formats that fucking matter. Like if something in Foundations breaks Modern, I'll eat shit for it. I doubt it. Because that card has to go through Standard. And I know generally cards that have to go through Standard don't break formats all that often. I mean, the last one we saw was fucking Up the Beanstalk.
Yeah.
And before that, it was Yorion, but I still maintain the Yorion ban is the stupidest ban potentially I've seen as I've been
Yorion
playing
did
Modern.
Nothing wrong.
But like before that, what was like what's a card from a regular set that was banned? Like a not straight to Modern set that was banned. Like what card went through Standard to be banned in Modern? What aside from Up the Beanstalk and Yorion, what were the most recent 2? What was the most recent one after those 2?
Oh man. Aldrin's Epiphany is not banned in Modern, is it?
Sure isn't.
Yeah.
Modern.
It was banned. Yeah, I don't know.
Modern ban list timeline. We have that. Has somebody come up with that? Does somebody have that as a website?
Ban and restrict.
Here we go.
Oh, that's alphabetical. That's stupid.
All right. I want here. Modern violent outburst, which was Shards of Alara. Not Shards of Alara. It was a standard set though.
Yeah,
but everyone was crying about that for years because it should have been banned. Oh well, but okay. So, but like that also came out. Alara Reborn. I knew it was an Alara set, but Alara Reborn was like 20. That was Alara Reborn. It was like 2011. I'm gonna say.
Yeah, but there was what was it? Right here, there's a fuck. What was it? Where is it?
Modern Fury. Preordained is unbanned. I'm not counting that.
No, there was a Once Upon a Time. Is that what it is? Or what's the card?
Luris banned. Okay, so Luris was banned.
Right.
I'm also not going to count that because that got exacerbated by. Okay, I will count that. It was January 2020, or sorry, March 2022, and then before that, it was Field of the Dead, Mystic Sanctuary, Simeon Spirit Guide, Tybalt's Trickery, and Uro, all in February of 2021.
Uro. Oh my god.
So yeah, those cards, sure. Though, but if you look at what we've seen recently from standard printings, via standard printings, what card, has any card been on any of those? Like, what card from standard has been on Uro's level?
Right.
What card has been on Tybalt's Trickery's level? What card's been on Mystic Sanctuary's level?
That be true. It's a good question, Dan.
So, again, I guess my point to this is why can't, after every RCQ season, we then have a BNR window for that RCQ season we just had, and then we have a ban window after the RCQ season, after the RC, and then after the Pro Tour for all those formats. We open up a 3-week BNR window for all those formats, and we just go. Standard you can leave as your once a year bullshit thing. I don't care. But your eternal formats, I think you need to be a lot more aggressive about.
I agree. Their eternal formats do need a lot of help, especially when they see something just happening and the format's just not able to adjust out of it. Right? Because there's right, Grief took how many years to become a problem in Legacy?
MH2 was 2021,
2000. Yeah, it took a considerable amount of time.
It took 2 years.
Yeah, it took 2 years for it to become a problem.
Yeah, June 2021. So yeah, it took 2 years before everyone was like, wait a minute, this card's actually really strong.
Yeah. So it's just
but those 2 years during these modern players are fucking crybabies. This card's not that strong. You put this card in Legacy, no one will care about it.
Just counter it. It's fine.
Just counter it. I got my Force Will. Who cares?
I've got my Force Will.
There's so many there's just better reanimate targets. Why would you reanimate this when Troll Khazad-dûm is just in the format? Who cares?
Oh my god. But that is a fun card to reanimate.
Oh, it's a great card to reanimate, but hey, going reanimate, neg 2 opponent. Let me get rid of your 2 best cards in your hand. Or you make them pitch 2 cards to deal with the grief that you're just throwing out there.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
All right. So to summarize everything, fix your ban. I'll give this ban window a try or two before I'm like, boy, this is stupid. This isn't helping anything.
I really hope we're just kind of misinterpreting it.
I hope I
right,
am.
and it's not actually going to be that long of a thing.
Because that's the thing too. The last announcement was on the 26th, so that's oh god, how many weeks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 weeks between B and R announcements.
Jesus.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Like, that's arguably too many.
I agree.
Like, I feel like they are at the mercy of, like, because I was listing off the competitive schedule, like, the fact that the Central America RC is at the end of November is
that's kind of rough.
That's hamstringing them. Like, I don't know how you enforce making RCs like closer, because like think about this. The current RCQ season ends on November 3rd, right?
Right.
The first RC for that is 3 months after that. The first RC is 3 months after that.
That's insanity.
And maybe that's how much time they feel people need to have in order to make travel arrangements and shit. But like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's quite a bit.
All right. So with that, long epi. Sorry, boys.
Holy moly.
I got stun locked for a good like a minute and a half, just being like, what the fuck are they talking about? Because I feel like I say that all the time now. Like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Is it us getting old?
Maybe.
No, it can't be that.
Maybe it's that. I don't know.
Maybe we're just boomers now. And we just don't understand
bro. I
just
turned 35. Like, fuck.
Boomer Jun. Here we come.
Boomer Murktide. Here we go. But let us know what you think of our RCQ experiences, and also let Bill know what he could have done versus Yawgmoth, because I don't know, because I think Boros Energy is a fake deck, honestly.
Yeah, well, and it's Yawgmoth. So
and it's Yawgmoth.
There's that.
And let us know what you think about the ban window thing, and also Wizards' weird design philosophy around Nadu. What do you think about those things?
Right? It is weird.
But with that, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, all those good things. On the podcast side, rate, review us. Let us know how we're doing there. Thanks again for listening. I've said this already, but I have to reinforce it because reasons. For everyone here, this is Dan saying keep calm, spike on, and goodbye forever.